G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Wombat Wednesday, and today I'm heading over to the Yarra Valley in Victoria. A good mate of mine, Adam Dromey, worked with us up at Two Hands Wines when I was up there a number of years ago, and he was from the United States and is living back there, but he came over and did I think a wine marketing degree and worked in Asfelador and came and helped in the winery on a regular basis, and we've remained in contact over the years, and whenever he's back in town, he comes over and we catch up and have a good chat and drink a few wines and what have you. And obviously the last few years with COVID he hasn't been back over, but he came over about a month or so ago, and he works for a company called Handpicked Wines. I think they're based out of Victoria or New South Wales, but they select different parcels of fruit from around many vineyards in the country, mainly in Victoria, I believe. And today we're tasting the Wombat Creek Single Vineyard Chardonnay from 2018, and it's hand-picked, as the name suggests, whole bunch pressed. So you reduce your solids in your juice and let it settle, and then the juice was transferred to fine French oak where fermentation occurred and partial malolactic fermentation. The wine stayed in a barrel for its entire life and matured in the French oak, and then I think tidied up and bottled sometime 10 or so months later. Malolactic fermentation is when a bacteria converts malic acid into lactic acid. The lactic acid is softer and is a bit more stable. So it was only partial, so I don't know how many barrels or percentage-wise of the wine that was converted, but obviously the acidity was probably pretty hard and austere, and so they just wanted to soften it out and make the wine a little bit more balanced and more approachable. So without further ado, Chardonnay. People often have asked me if I'm going to make a Chardonnay, but I think there's so many good ones out there that I'm not that I'm against it. I love to make Chardonnay. I made Chardonnay for a number of years when I was working in the Adelaide Hills, and it's a wonderful variety, and you can do so much with it, with malolactic fermentation, different oak regimes, barrel lees stirring and everything. So it is a wonderful wine to play around with, but there are so many good ones on the marketplace. I just rather buy them off the shelf and drink them at home. So without further ado, let's give it a crack. 2018 Wombat Creek. Wombat Creek sounds a bit sort of warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? Wombat Creek, better than Wolf Creek for your Aussies out there. But look at that, so it's 4 years old. Lovely light straw, sort of green hue to it. Some nice sort of brioche nut roast nut note. There's some nice sort of citrus zest in there. Some lemon curd. Really balanced and lifted. It's really inviting and really fresh. I mean, it's 4 years old. I mean, it should be last many years in the cellar, but looking really fresh and lively. A simmer on the palate. It's still got good acidity. One of the byproducts of malolactic fermentation is a compound called diacetyl, which is sort of a butteriness, but they do have these bacteria now which miss that pathway in the metabolism, and so you don't get it. So I'm not sure what bacteria they did use or what performed that partial malolactic fermentation, but it's not a huge amount of butteriness there. I mean, there's a little bit there, but that might just be a bit of the yeast that they might have stirred some barrels. So it's not overly rich and full, but it's some nice density, some nice oak there. There's some citrus notes. There is some nice brioche notes. There's some mouthfeel, some good acidity, good length, and really balanced. It's a very well made Chardonnay, lovely. Yarra Valley, cool climate in Victoria. One of the very close to Melbourne. So if you do travel to Melbourne and you want to go for a wine region for a day, Yarra Valley is very accessible. So I'm not sure where Wombat Creek is. Apologies, I'm not sure where that vineyard is in the scheme of things. But does it tell me there? No, it's ideal. It is steep slopes in the upper Yarra Valley. There we go, upper Yarra Valley. So it's further away from Melbourne. Wombat Creek is ideally sited for wines of great elegance and clarity. So the further north you go, with those steep slopes, Yarra Valley is classified as cool climate, so perfect for Chardonnay. That is it's a lovely wine. I'm not sure of the price. I think it's probably around 50, 60 bucks, maybe a little bit more. But a lovely present from Adam Dromey. Thanks, Adam. And there we go. 2018 Yarra Valley Handpicked Wombat Creek Chardonnay. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon. Cheers.